I can see you. I cannot hear you yet, but I'll be able to hear you when I play you on stage. If you're ready, just give me a thumbs up. All right, everybody, here we go. The one, the only, Vicki Bowers, everybody. Hey, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How about you guys? Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yes, perfectly.
Okay.
I'm so excited. First and foremost, how are you doing this morning?
Pretty well. I'm getting better every day.
You feeling better?
Yeah. It seems like this time of year I get this. So I guess it really is seasonal.
Oh man, I hate all the colds and the I don't get sick very often, but it's always around this time. So
yeah.
Oh man, so go ahead, member.
I was just gonna say the rapid temperature change sometimes, because I noticed that people were telling me their temperatures and it's going up 30, 40 degrees from morning to afternoon. That'll affect you, when you're not used to it, right? At least in the summer, it's a little consistent. You know what I mean? It's either, warm or mild. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So we have a bunch of super fans in the audience, along with myself, and I'm a little starstruck. But Crystal says hi. Ma is a huge fan. She says hi. CJ's a huge fan. Mad Productions, Magic, Vicky, Dina. Yes, this is amazing. This is amazing.
Amber.
This is something I've always wanted to do. I was, we've been watching the same history, listening to the same history for a while now, and I can't believe it's happening. So, how did you find the Cove? Was it the day that you went live?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it was. I might have some tickling of awareness, maybe when your channel subscribed to my channel. Okay. And I looked at it and I, no glimmer of recognition, but that day that I went live and y'all commented, and I think Amber did too.
Yep.
And I looked at it later because, I researched things.
Yep.
And I thought, oh my, what have I gotten into here? But
yes, I love that. I so agree. I love that.
But I started watching. I don't always watch the whole show, but I watched to see, at least part of it. And I thought, these guys, they're all right. They're all right. The show here, they're trying to build a community and they're trying to uplift their audience. And
yes, absolutely.
I love
absolutely.
that. I love that.
I remember the day that you commented, and I remember I messaged Manbear right away, and I was like, "Don't smoke, don't smoke."
I mean, it's the same thing. We talk about the show to a lot of people, but I noticed that if we bring up cannabis as the first subject, they're like, "Oh no, another cannabis thing," and I'm like, "No, wait." And then everything else you say after that's kind of like, "Well, you already said cannabis, so I don't even," if they're not into it, right? So what I started doing is I'll talk about Cove TV without the cannabis. They're like, "Oh, that's great." I'm like, "Oh, by the way, we smoke." What? I'm like, "Oh, nothing.
So Vicki Bowers, where are you originally from? I know that I'd worked at the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
museum.
Loved it there.
That is up in the Northeast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but I want to say you're in Texas now.
I'm in Texas now. Okay. I grew up in Oklahoma.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and tell us a little bit of your story, please.
Oklahoma City area. My dad was in the Army when I was born, so I was born at a base hospital in Kentucky.
Okay.
But, of course, I was an infant, so I have no recollection of that at all. Just the connection. And came back to Oklahoma. Dad spent some time in Germany in the Army and came back. I have such fond memories of my grandmother who looked after me while he was gone. And then he met a lovely woman when I was probably still a toddler, about 3. They got married when I was 4 days before my 4th birthday.
Okay.
Mom and Dad. And she was always all about Dad and made a point of never involving an argument with him in front of us, which I appreciate.
Yes.
And, that kept their differences private. And then I grew up, went to school, got married, had some kids, got a divorce. And met Mr. Bowers actually back in the 1990s. And we dated for a while and parted company for a while. I married somebody else and am widowed from him. And a couple years after Mr. Newby passed, I was kind of going through something, and I was writing about it. I write every day,
Oh, wow.
whether it's very deep or not. I write every day, and here's the current book. I'm not going to open it up.
That's incredible, though. I know journaling, is so it does so much. Whether and it doesn't matter what you're writing about, even if you're just like writing literally the exact things that you're thinking, or you're trying to like have a more of a pointed type of. But yeah, I feel like it does so much.
It is. It's been a significant avenue of healing for me. If I can get this golf ball in a tile bathroom that's going like this, out of my head, down my arm, through my hand, and on the paper,
that's good.
It loses its power somehow.
Yes,
it's been extremely helpful. So 2 years after Mr. Newby passed, I was writing about something I was going through. What am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about this? And whatever it is, it said, you need to write a thank you note to Kent Bowers. I said, I think you missed the question. What am I going to do about this? And it said, you need to write a thank you letter to Kent Bowers. And I thought, that's crazy. Why would I do that? It said, just write a thank you letter to Kent Bowers. It always whispers when it comes at me like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't even know where he is, if he's involved with somebody, if I'm getting in the middle of something, I don't know. It said, none of that matters, just write.
Yes.
So I did. And this was on a Wednesday. And why do I remember that? Because when I got done with it, I thought, that's creepy, man. I'm not sending that. And it said, it's not about sending it, it's about writing it.
Absolutely.
So I thought, okay, well, I can sit on it for a while. And, since research is what I do, I did look him up. I found him. And I put the letter away for a couple days. And so that was on a Wednesday. And on the Friday, 2 days later, I got it back out and I read it again, what I had written. And I thought, well, it's not so creepy. I mean, it's not scary. It's not stalky or anything. So I put it in an envelope and I mailed it.
Dang.
And about 10 days later, I got a letter back. And he gave me his phone number and I called him and we talked every day on the phone since then, pretty much. And I was going to be in Texas for a meeting and told him that. And he came and we went to dinner and just talked about everything and nothing. And it didn't frighten either of us away. And so he lived here in Texas and I in Oklahoma still at the time. And he had an unexpected allergic reaction to something that he got an anaphylactic reaction to something.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty frightening. And he's been pretty healthy his whole life, really. He doesn't know how to be sick.
Yeah.
People who are sick a lot kind of know how to be sick. And it's not in his experience. And so I was able to talk him through that. And, like, do you have any Benadryl in the house? And, get your landline phone and open the front door if you need to call the ambulance.
Yeah.
But he did improve. And that worried me, So I said, what do you think about if I move to Texas somewhere near you so that if something like that happens again, I won't be half a day's drive away? And he said, I would like that. So I moved to Texas and right here in the neighborhood where he lives, right around the corner. So eventually then he said, why don't we just go ahead and get married and you can move over here?
That's amazing.
Okay. Yeah. So here we are. And I'm glad. I'm glad I listened to the ether.
For real.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And that's a hard thing too, is knowing what and when to listen to the voice. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it'll tell you something, and but absolutely, it's amazing. That is incredible. So how long have you been doing this day in history?
This day in history? Oh, good. I'm glad you asked me that because I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
In 2018, I came across something where they talked about hashtag 100-day project.
Okay.
And, you know, I knew I wanted to create some kind of content, but I was cautious about it because, you know, I see, am I really going to be able to do that? You know, is it going to take over my whole life?
Absolutely.
And am I going to be able to keep thinking up ideas? I've seen people that I loved on YouTube, and, you know, by and by they get tired of it. They run out of things to say and they drift away. And I thought,
absolutely.
why go to all the trouble of creating an audience and then just...
Yeah, for real. Absolutely.
So I thought, well, hashtag 100-day project might be a good way to kind of get my feet wet and see how it is, what I want to talk about. And so at the beginning of I think it was 2019. Yeah, it was the beginning of 2019. I started a hashtag 100-day project of doing a video every day. And those, oh my God, those first ones are so awkward and awful, you know, because I didn't know what to talk about.
Absolutely.
Well, the weather today is 20 degrees outside. Oh, I got a Ring doorbell notification. There's a squirrel on the porch, you know, just goofy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Goofy. Just to be able to get on and say something. And it helped me get comfortable with the camera. Well, I mean, you know, I was still awkward for quite a while, and I'd have my laptop in my lap, so the camera would be looking up my chin. My sister said, Vicki, above the chin takes off 10. Okay, thank you. So anyway, I did that hashtag 100-day project. I think there was a trip to Sarasota to see my dad in the middle of all that. I didn't make all of those videos public, but, you know, 100 days, I made a video every day. And it helped me see this is possible. This is doable.
Yeah.
And so when the 100 days was over, it was like, now what? So I took some time off from regular posting every day. And then in September, it was in the first week of September 2019, I was looking at the internet, and there's I think history.com has this day in history page. I'm burping coffee here. And so I just got back on and started telling things that I saw there. You know, I probably also told about the weather. I don't remember now. I'd have to go look. But I had a garden at that house, and so I did some things with the garden. I tried to record outside. We have crows around here, so they're loud and raucous, you know.
Yes.
And it can be as still as death outside. And when you go outside with recording material, all of a sudden, every noisy thing wants to kick up. So there's some of those. And so 2019, first week of September, that I started doing this day in history every day. And there was a time that I would do lives at midnight. I'm over that. It was fun for a while, but I kept doing this day in history. And, you know, then I realized, well, I think I'd rather just do these in chronological order than just randomly the way they're listed here. And I found that on Wikipedia, if you go to Wikipedia and put the date in the search bar, it'll bring you up a bunch of stuff that happened on that day in history.
Awesome.
So that's where I get a lot of my stuff. And now that I have an audience, people send me things. And I don't remember when I started adding the word of the day to it.
Love the word of the day.
Yeah. And I'm definitely a word person, all about them words. And then one of my viewers on BitChute suggested a song of the day. And BitChute's a trip now. BitChute is like walking down the middle of the street in a scary neighborhood at night.
Oh no.
Just keep going straight ahead. But it is interesting. People will comment things there that I'm like, wow, really?
So, quick side note on the word of the day. What made you get into the horse words? We loved the horse words. You were on a run of horse words for a while.
I
loved it.
I was on a run of horse words, love horse words. And I don't remember what inspired me to do that, but I came upon them and there were a bunch of them. Another thing for words is, what's it called? Well, there's a guy who does a word of the day written thing every day. I don't remember if they're available by newsletter or not, which is why I don't remember the website name, but he's all about words. And sometimes if I get a word and I think, oh boy, where am I going to find something about that? I'll go look there and see if it's in the history there. But yeah, horse words. Horses were so significant to the development of humanity and civilization.
Yeah.
And so, yep, there's a lot of horse words out there. It's
We have,
sorry.
we have. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Never.
Go ahead, dude.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say I've been listening to Years of Staying History for years now, and when I started doing Cove TV, we kind of developed our time slots and stuff like that, and I was like, all right, now we have a morning show. What are we gonna do with it? And then I remember one day, but I was just like, oh, we could listen to. YouTube is not a big fan of us showing things, but like I was like, well, we can listen to This Day in History, and every day we've never, if we have a morning show, which we usually don't miss morning shows whatsoever, except for like medical or whatever the case may be. But if we do a morning show, the This Day in History is usually our first segment that we run.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, quickly about the horses. That's very interesting. We have a historical walking bridge here that was the only way they could get horses across the river here, which is the Fraser River, which is the main river that runs all the way down my province from like way up almost in Alaska all the way down through the entire province of British Columbia. And the walking bridge was built in 1859, but it actually collapsed once and was rebuilt. But the funny thing is, it says horses are not allowed to exceed walking pace.
Slow down, Sparky. Yeah, it is a walking bridge.
Yeah. I just thought that was really funny. It's on the sign too, like it's still there. I just think that's hilarious. Yeah, but that's how I have to go to get downtown, is I have to cross the river. So I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, it's so cool. I take pictures all the time because it still looks, like an old historic bridge. I love it. Yeah.
All right. So Kay is wondering, do you have any fur babies? She would love to. She home makes dog treats and cat treats, and if you do, I can get you her address. And
nice. Yes, I do. I have little Ripley here. She is asleep on a pillow right on the other side of the desk here. My desk is a table, so that's why I leaned back to see her. Ripley, I inherited Ripley from my dad when he passed. After Mom died, he was a little lonely and he wanted to get a dog, and so he got a golden doodle named Jenny.
Okay.
And when Jenny was about 2 years old, she had a litter of puppies. And occasionally we'll see this phenomenon documented on the internet where the first baby, whether it's a puppy or a kitten, is the darkest color, and they successively are lighter in color until the last one is white. And so that's how it was with this litter. The first one was a dark black dog, and the last one was nearly white. And I think think Jenny was in the middle. She was the runt of the litter, and we've got a picture of her when she's a baby, little baby puppy, and he's got her in his hand.
Dang.
She's so small he could hold her in his hand. And so they bonded pretty tightly. And when COVID hit, he was having some health issues, and he thought, I need to get away somewhere where I won't be around people at all. And so he went somewhere remote and stayed pretty much by himself. My brother-in-law go look in on him, but he took Ripley with him, and so they really bonded then.
Oh.
And then it was COVID was 2020, and Dad passed last year. So when he passed, we were all up there to make arrangements and everything. And a couple of family members said, would you be willing to take Ripley home with you? I think you'd be a good fit for her.
Oh, man.
And, so I have Ripley now, and she's a little Velcro doggy. She hates to be left by herself.
I've got Morgan. She's a pit bull, purebred pit bull, and she is like the spokesperson for the Cove. She's sleeping still.
Yeah,
Morgan.
Yeah. Hi.
And yeah, she was a runt, and she's the smallest. She has really bad anxiety.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like to be left alone. She likes to be knowing what's going on and be included. That's also somebody was asking. A couple of people asking, do you have like stickers or any sort of merch, anything like that?
You know, I've been thinking about that, and I don't yet, but I need to, don't I?
I'm in the same boat, dear. 100%.
I don't know what it is. We love stickers. Since I was a kid, we always loved stickers, and we always have people making them and sending them out. And our friend Europe Entertainment, I have his stickers from Colorado, and I was so excited when I got a package from Colorado because it was a little envelope. I was like, I know what this is. It's, you know what I mean? And it was just like opening a Christmas present or getting the stickers out of the hockey cards, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it made me feel like a kid again.
We love our stickers.
Yeah.
So what else is going on in your world? When did you start doing your No Really blog? I love the name of that, by the way.
I started that, ages ago. I think I discovered Blogger back when I was in Cooperstown, so the 2000 aughts. We moved up there in 2002, so it'd be somewhere between 2002 and 2009 when we moved back to Oklahoma. So I've had a Blogger account all this time, and No Really, I thought, well, I don't know that I particularly want to put fiction on a blog, and I don't really write for the blog every day, but when I do, it's going to be either essay or something that actually happened. I think somewhere on there, maybe I have a long rambling narrative about how to make bread.
But you're so right, though, when you were talking about, the 100-day challenge of honestly, that is what has given, made the Cove its place so much in the social media aspect is we don't miss a show. We don't miss a day. That consistency is crazy. And to any content creators out there that, if you feel like you're struggling or anything like that, just don't stop. Just don't.
Yeah.
If you can have the ability to do it, just keep doing.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to pop a couple links in here quick, everybody. This is Vicki Bowers YouTube. Please make sure that you are subscribed to her YouTube. And I'm going to grab this day in history. Go ahead, member. You're good.
Sorry, Joe Rogan. Everyone knows who Joe Rogan is. He started his podcast quite a long time ago, and it took about 5 years of him doing it every day. 5 years of him doing it every day to gain any popularity, anything. He sold that to Spotify for millions.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not saying that's going to happen to any of you, but if you don't put in that effort, you're never going to know. If you're not as consistent as I always bring up Joe Rogan because he's the most consistent guy in that world that I know of, next to like Howard Stern. You know what I mean? Like Howard Stern that was so good. And I make a joke about, who was the first person to do all these, lives and everything. I was like, Wayne and Garth in their basement in Waynesville. Access TV was the first live shows.
You guys are my Wayne and Garth.
Yes. I love it. I'll take it. That's incredible. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. So tell us a little bit about your crafting page, your kind of crafting experience.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The necklace pendants are incredible. Like that was insane. I cannot believe that. I was very intrigued because the message that you sent me, it was, I'm going to send you something, and there's a letter inside that says, it explains why I'm sending you what I'm sending you. And I'm like, what does this mean?
Yeah, I made and sold jewelry and accessories online and at craft shows from about 2007 when I was in Cooperstown.
Okay.
And, I carried it with me and learned everything I could. And, to really get out there, it's like a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to, like, oh my goodness, create a mailing list and send out emails regularly. It can, for me, I thought that's a lot of work. I'd rather just make things, I could pack send them out. But the whole business end of it, I'm not talking about the accounting end, that was a snap, but the whole creating content for that and getting that out there, that was like, that's a whole position by itself.
Yes.
I'm only one person.
It definitely takes a team to make all of this work.
It really does. It really does. And so anyway, a couple years ago, I thought, I think there was something going on where the government thought that, people like on eBay or whatever, those people are making money and we're not getting any of it. And so they were trying to pass some kind of a thing that if anybody sold more than $600 worth of whatever, that they had to be a W-9, I think, or some tax. 1099.
Yeah.
And well, I'm already doing all that tax stuff anyway, but I thought, that it just felt like a portend of things to come. Yeah. And so I just scaled back all of that and eventually closed all my stores. Yeah. And so I still have a few things left. Do I have anything right here? Of course not.
Oh, that's hard.
But I still have some things, and so as I find places to send them out as blessings, I do. Oh my goodness, so many materials that I still have to make things with, and I don't know what I'm going to do with all of that. This door right here is the craft room.
Oh, geez.
So I closed the door because it's a big mess back there. But
I know how that goes.
Anyway, so I have that beading and jewelry making and gemstones and glass beads. And then I became interested in polymer clay. So
nice.
And those pendants that you got, a lot of them are made with polymer clay and a resin on top. And so I was following the content of a polymer clay artist, and she at that time would use resin to dome the tops of the pieces. Now there's a product called UV resin that's cured with ultraviolet light. So I have 2-part resins and ultraviolet resins, and make things with them. Do I have anything here? Oh yeah, I do. I have something here. This is not a pretty coaster. It's just a coaster that I made with a mold, and
that's cool though.
Mica powder, and I got a little stick on
the
back.
It's a cork board or whatever, right?
Yeah, I have so many coasters.
It's funny you said I could use one, honestly, because I could use coasters. I remember back in the day, Mike, I was raised by my grandma, and I remember having the little stack of coasters on the side table. Make sure the coasters are out. Companies coming on. We don't want those stains on our tables and stuff.
Yeah.
I do want to say good morning to everybody that's popped in. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Vicki. But we're not going anywhere. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Stick around. We still got 20 minutes of interview easily. So what about some of your how did you get into working at the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Mr. Newby was a big baseball fan. Everything had a relationship to baseball some way. What an interesting time that was in my life. And so we were living in Oklahoma at the time, and he would go to work early and come home earlier than I did. And so when I'd get home, he'd hear me pull in the drive, and he would get up and move away and act like he was doing something else. But when I would walk in the house, there'd be the computer with a real estate listing in Cooperstown. He'd act like he hadn't left that up there for me to see, and I'd act like I hadn't seen it. So this went on for about a year. And so eventually then in, I don't remember what year it was now, but I know we moved to Cooperstown in 2002, so it might have been 2001. We planned a trip to go up there and look around. And I knew that we were going up there to buy a house. Although he said we were just going up to look around and see how things were. But yeah, we were going up there to buy a house, and we found one, and bought the house and moved up there. And I've always had a job doing something pretty much most of my life up to that point. And I thought, well, this is wonderful, but we got to get some income here. And we had gone over to the Hall of Fame. I think we'd seen something about they were going to have a Legends event. So we went up there to buy tickets for the Legends event. And it was through the membership department. And I thought, oh, I could do this. And then they were looking for, they put a ad in the local paper there that they were looking for people to work in the membership department. I remembered my experience buying Legends tickets, so I went and applied and got the job. And so, yep, I was in the membership department at the Hall of Fame from 2002. I left there in 2007 to do more of that craft thing with the jewelry. If that hadn't happened, and I may still be there today, but I loved it. I really did.
Did you meet a lot of Hall of Fame baseball players?
I did. Yeah, I wouldn't say a lot, but I sure did meet some. Every year when they announce the people that are coming in, they announce them usually early in the year. And then usually in the spring, they'll bring them in for orientation. And they don't announce that publicly.
Yeah.
And so, they have these new Hall of Famers who are there for orientation in the spring. And anybody who happens to be there that day, which I was there every day, can meet them, have a meet and greet. And then induction is usually last part of July, early August. And oh my goodness, what an exhilarating experience working the induction was.
Yeah, I bet.
I definitely missed that. And Cooperstown Village itself is only about a mile across, maybe a mile and a quarter at its farthest, corner to corner. And before we went out there, I thought, what, if it's such a popular town, everybody wants to go there. Why is it so small? Well, that's because it's at the base of a lake that feeds, that's the source of the Susquehanna River that goes down through Pennsylvania, meets up, I think, with the Delaware River.
Dang.
And out into the Atlantic Ocean. The Susquehanna River begins at Lake Otsego, the headwaters. It's maybe 10, 12, maybe more than that, but it's not very wide or deep at its origin there. So there's that, plus mountains on each side. It's just kind of in a little, at the base of a place where the lake comes and feeds a river. So Cooperstown Village is arranged around that. And when we lived there, there were probably a population about 2,200. I think that the population numbers, resident population, have declined a bit since then, probably in just the last few years. But they've got a hospital there that employs as many people as live in the village. They come from all around. And Bassett Hospital, pretty decent place. And lovely area. We used to go for Sunday drives around through Otsego County and one place and another, and it's just stunningly beautiful up there, everywhere, year round. And I remember saying one time, why in the world would anybody ever, people came from Europe and they'd get there, but then of course they migrated on west.
Yeah.
And I thought, why in the world would anybody, if they got here, why would they leave? And so somebody said, well, after a while it would get crowded and people have to move on to make room for others, I guess.
Yeah.
We lived in a house that had been built in the 1840s.
Dang.
By a fella who, last name of Root. I think his name was, I might have to look this up. I think his name was Charles Lee Root.
Okay.
But he had come to Cooperstown before that to work on the Otesaga Hotel. He was at least part of a crew that built the Otesaga Hotel there. And he liked it there, and so he built a house for his family. And that house had been continuously inhabited by Root descendants until Malcolm passed away at the age of 69, and his brother Charles, not the original Charles, his brother Charles, who was in his 80s at the time, found it necessary to sell the house. And that's when we came along.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. It hadn't had a lot of stuff done to it. So the good thing about that house was that it hadn't had a lot of stuff done to it. And the other side of that coin was it hadn't had a lot of stuff done to it. It still had the original knob and tube wiring.
Oh, shit.
Silk wrapped wiring in the house.
Dang.
And so we had an electrician come in to see about something. And he said, "Oh, this is all got to be replaced." And I said, "Really? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of charming. Can't we leave it?" And he said, "I have to sleep at night and I can't work on this without replacing all this work."
Yeah.
Just a miracle this house hadn't burned down.
Wow.
So,
do you have a favorite Hall of Fame baseball player or the most significant one that you remember meeting?
Bob Feller.
Okay. Why is that?
Mr. Newby was a big fan of Bob Feller, and I got to meet Bob Feller, and I liked him too. And I think over there somewhere there's a picture of us with him, but he was a pitcher, and I've discovered over the years that pitcher have a certain sort of personality, and I don't quite have the words to describe it. A sense of bravado, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
It kind of feels like when you talk to them, it kind of feels like they're not afraid of anything, even if maybe they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure, and they have to have that mindset being on the mound all the time like that.
Yeah. And he was a lot of fun to talk to and listen to, Bob Feller, and so that's always the one that pops to mind for me. And yeah, we've watched some baseball in the years.
Yeah. We have a favorite baseball team?
Cleveland Indians.
Okay.
And I know they've changed their name to be politically correct, but they'll always be the Cleveland Indians to me.
Absolutely.
The Nationals or something now. I can't remember what they are now.
Yeah, I don't know. Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, I know.
Cleveland Indians.
And like just quickly, you know what the funniest thing is it wasn't like Native Americans that were offended by it. They got offended that it got changed. Did you know this? That they actually got offended that it got changed because they were proud to have the Cleveland Indians name. It's not derogatory when you're talking about something positive. Baseball's always been a positive pastime in America. And I don't feel like saying that in a team name was any kind of derogatory. I think it was just a name they came up with that they liked, and no one's ever had a problem with it until however many years ago. You know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so irritating. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite color and flower? Ma wants to know. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and pop them in. I think we've got about 10 minutes left. So
yeah, ask those questions. I love the aquas and turquoises and purples that go with it, and all the colors in the logo that you made for me. So
I'm
that's
so
beautiful.
glad that you love that logo. I love seeing
Yeah.
it every
Mhm.
time we watch it. It just blows my
Yeah.
mind.
I
It is
usually have a green screen behind me, and I thought, I don't know if we can throw something up on that green screen for this. So I moved it into the other room. But usually I can't wear anything turquoise or aqua or green with the green screen because
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
disappears. Flowers. I love roses and irises.
Okay.
Is there anything you remember looking up that truly shocked you? Like, I don't mean like the weird, but anything you looked up and you were like, "Whoa!" Like, I can't believe that that's actually true to history. Like something that never happened now, maybe, or I don't know.
I'm sure that there has been, but I can't
Yeah.
yet put my finger on
No,
one
I know what
right
you
now.
mean. I just
Um.
every time you do this day in history, there's always something that I'm like, really? Like not
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? You're like, wow, and like
Yeah.
yeah, some of the things that
Um.
people did in the past just totally blow my mind. I'm
Yeah.
just
Kay wants to know any allergies for your fur baby.
I'm not aware of any.
Okay. So this is a question I always ask everybody that comes on to be interviewed or anything like that. I am big on that 9/11, so I do always have to ask, where were you on 9/11?
I was upstairs in the A-frame in Mustang, Oklahoma,
Okay.
and it was time to head out for work. There was a time change. I mean,
Yep.
a time difference between where they were and where we
Yep,
were.
absolutely.
And I think the Today Show had been on, but then they went to the local people, and I think it was Kevin Ogle and somebody, and you could see this screen behind him with this big smoke thing going up, and I thought, what in the world is that? And that upstairs area was kind of a loft, and so I went downstairs to the TV, and I just stood there in front of the TV like this. I couldn't. It was time to go to work, and I couldn't pull myself away from it to go
Yeah, it's
to
wild.
work. And so I called the office and I said, do you guys have the TV on out in the waiting room? I was working at my dad's office. And I said, go turn that TV on and see what's happening. I'll be there as soon as I can pull myself away from it.
Yeah.
And I stood right there and watched it unfold in front of
Yeah.
the television. Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I was.
I got there's so many stories to be told, and I know it's a sour subject for some people, and I don't like to dive too deep into it, but I always feel like that is something that anybody who has ever come on for an interview, I've always
Yeah.
asked them where you were. That's such a significant day that everybody always remembers exactly where they were, and I just feel like it's so.
When that happened, I honestly did not watch a lot of TV at the time. I was a very active skateboarder, so I was always out, lots of friends, worked at McDonald's, just very busy. But I know my girlfriend came down. She was living about an hour north from here. She came downstairs and her dad was watching TV, and she thought he was watching a movie. And why does he keep rewinding this scene where the plane keeps crashing into the building? And then he's like, "No, this just happened." She's like, "What?" And I think she
Yeah.
was 17 or something like that, or
Yeah.
a little older. Yeah.
All right, we've got about 5 or so minutes left. So what is next for Vicki Bowers, or this day in history with Vicki Bowers?
I'm just going to keep on keeping on.
Heck
I've been
yeah.
doing it long enough that I've got some episodes from previous years that are not too bad, and so I rework some of those. Sometimes I make new ones.
Yeah.
I'm still getting word of the day suggestions, so I need to get those in somewhere.
The word of the day is so amazing. Even Bean sometimes replays some of our morning speakers because they were so impactful. And we do a game called Dodgeball. So every Thursday and Saturday we do a sports related morning speaker. We just had Peyton Manning was our last one.
Yeah,
And
Peyton Manning
honestly,
yesterday.
such inspiring stories from athletes who have had a successful career, either gotten injured or gotten out, and to see what they're doing after their career has just been really amazing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this day in history. It's been amazing having you send in every day. I definitely would love to have you on again, and especially some morning when we have more time. You say that I messaged you on Monday, and when you sent me the link, and I know you said you were big on the word, so you got to catch a real word, fake word game one of these days.
I have to do that.
God.
Yeah. Yeah.
We play every
so-
Monday. We try to play a different game-ish every day, and on Mondays we'll play our Stoner Roulette game, and then we'll play Real Word Fake Word, and it's a lot of fun. It's super goofy, and sometimes you learn something, and there's
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, there has been so many words that me and Sir Kopsala cannot figure out are real or not. I mean, you wouldn't believe the words that were real that you're like, those letters don't, go
Yeah.
in. And even when he has the voice say the word, sometimes they don't even say the word. The one word was whilst, spelt with a Y, and it was like, and the word is WHYST, and we're like, what? And then like he wouldn't even say it because it was spelled so weird. Like I was like, hey, I don't even want to mess with that.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, we try to do all sorts of different, try to offer something for everybody. And and I love how you said, sometimes you don't watch the whole show, you watch certain segments and stuff like that. And then it's absolutely, because some stuff isn't for everybody. We just try to offer something for everybody.
I love that you're uplifting your audience. You have this day in history to educate them about things.
Yeah.
You have the yoga lady to help them with their mental and emotional and physical fitness. You have Dr. K, who's awesome. I never knew of him before,
I didn't either up until the last few months. I had no idea. And it's the funny thing Dr. K does is he is an East Indian man, but he doesn't break out his accent very often. But when he does, I don't know if it's okay for me to laugh because we don't see him. We just hear him, right? So he does this East Indian, and I'm like, it's funny. Am I like, you know what I mean? It's almost like how they complain about Apu's voice in The Simpsons, right? It's like, am I still allowed to laugh at Apu making jokes? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's just been an incredible journey of what we've done here. Absolutely, like you were saying, just try to create a community. There's enough negative out in the world that we definitely don't need to add on to that. I don't think in any sort of manner.
Yeah,
and it just gives everybody a place to come for a couple hours. We try to play games in the afternoon. I've always said I treat it like a family game night. Like when you win the game, you just slap your brother and call him an idiot, and you win. Like, you know what I mean? And like that's how it's a lot of back and forth, like shit talking and stuff like that. But it's just all about the community. It's all about the viewers. We've talked about how we'll go. A lot of us have had that experience where we'll go into a live or something like that, and like it just seems like you're just watching, and it's like, well, I might as well just watch Hulu then. When versus you can just watch and actually interact, and it makes a big difference.
Like for one of our games, Token Tunes, it's absolutely audience involved. They pick the songs, like they pick the numbers for the songs that we play. So without the audience, there's no show.
Absolutely.
So when he's talking about how interactive it is, it's super interactive, and it's so nice that we've created, Beans and everyone, a safe place for when you have time to come and chill. Because the first thing we do say is if you have family or work, that definitely comes first. But this is always going to be here, a safe place for everyone. And just yesterday, I was on a different live and had people talking about me and Beans and how we had been bringing people together. And I didn't even realize that the people recently that we had all brought together were, I met this person, B met this person, and now they go and and it's just been absolutely incredible. So this day in history is absolutely the best way to start our day. I love it, and I hope you never stop doing it. Thank you so much for what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. We got about a minute left, and then we're gonna have to jump into some yoga. Vicki, is there any last words, anything you'd like to say or leave us with?
Live well and be happy.
Perfect.
Happiness is a byproduct of right living. So live well and be happy.
Absolutely. Well, we will definitely have you on again. This was incredible. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. I enjoyed it very much. So I feel like everybody in the audience enjoyed it very, very much.
Thank you.
Y'all,
everybody have a wonderful day and a great weekend.
Until next time.
Until next time.
All righty.